Hey, what's up, Bitcoin Chaser fans? How are you all doing today? A beautiful Wednesday here. Well, it's actually Thursday today in sunny South Africa, and we are going to be going over your cryptocurrency news with Bitcoin Chaser. I hope you guys enjoy. As you can see, we are currently on the Coinmarketcap, and we're quickly going to take a look at how the top 10 coin currencies are currently doing, and then we're going to be talking a little bit about all the news that's come out. To the dude Lino, welcome. Thank you for your comments. It gave a lot of early stage jitters elimination as per usual. Those of you who are expecting our live stream yesterday, unfortunately we are going to be doing it today, obviously. Right, so first on our list is Bitcoin, moving 1% up in the last 24 hours, seeing a price of $6,577. Ethereum also generally at the same price as it was last week, but it is up 1% in the last 24 hours. XRP seeing $50 at the moment, with a 61% change in an upwards direction over the last 24 hours, but generally over the last week seeing its peak about 4 days ago and continuing on its downtrend since then. Bitcoin Cash stable at about $516 and $530. Realistically, not much movement in the last 24 hours. EOS is at a 2.84% up in the last 24 hours, but generally a stable price in the last week. Stellar, Litecoin, and Tether all coming in 6th, 7th, and 8th, with Tether maintaining its $1 amount, finally dipping below $1 actually at 99 cents. Litecoin at $58, a general downtrend over the last week, but up 1.45% in the last 24 hours. And Stellar, massive rise 3 days ago, and now a big drop. Unfortunately, we are a little bit up again at 69 cents. 0.69% up. But that's where we're at the top 10 market cap. Cardano and Monero second before last, and last place in the top 10 market cap at the moment, seeing a pretty stable price, not moving much over the last 24 hours, between 0.04% and 0.8% up in the last 24 hours. Now moving on to our Bitcoin Chaser news, we have a lot of interesting and cool stuff coming out today, including our Son of a Chain segment, which comes out every single week, talking about the future of exchanges. A very interesting piece this week, if I do say so myself. Very excited to get your guys' feedback on that. Now, you all know the links to everything we discuss in this video is in the description below. You can navigate there in your own time, or if you're watching from a offline version of this video and not live, you can go there to read up more information about what we are talking about. Right, so our first piece is the Malta. Is it really the blockchain island? Some news dropping about Malta. So the annual General Assembly session at the UN is probably one of the most useless gatherings of international leaders. This year, it seems that Joseph Muscat, the Prime Minister of Malta, highlighted his government's regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies during his speech. He asserted that this regulatory framework turns Malta into the blockchain island, which is a bit of a stretch. Orphaned blocks are the only blockchain islands. Prime Minister Muscat was attempting to make a sales pitch, something that is not unusual at the UNGA annual session. The problem with the pitch is that it refers to a specific brand of blockchain regulation that the government of Malta wants people to buy into. Blockchains rely on a consensus mechanism that replaces government intervention for those industry experts and enthusiasts. The term blockchain island might serve to describe an orphaned block better than a nation's stance on Bitcoin or blockchain technology. Now let's take a look at this video of Malta PM at the UN General Assembly. Crypto is the inevitable future of money. So taking a look at that.
Accessibility to advanced technologies that will lead to solutions, hopefully for the whole world. I passionately believe technology revolutionizes and improves system. This is why in Malta we have launched ourselves as the blockchain island, by being the first jurisdiction worldwide to regulate this new technology that previously existed in a legal vacuum. Blockchain makes cryptocurrencies, the inevitable future of money, more transparent since it helps filter good business from bad business. But these distributed ledger technologies can do much more. It can provide solutions to healthcare systems where patients have real ownership of their medical records. Emissions trading systems can be taken to the next level. We can help verify that humanitarian assistance is reaching its intended destination. We can make sure that nobody is deprived of their legitimate property because of compromised data. Corporations will be able to become more accountable to their shareholders. States will need to move from hoarding information on citizens to regulating an environment where citizens trust the handling of their own data. These are just a few ways how we can counter regressive and reactionary politics. This forum shows that we stand to gain through dialogue and cooperation, which will always triumph over division and self-absorption. Because in unity, we do and we can have hope. Thank you very much.
So even if the Prime Minister of Malta believes that blockchain technology needs to be regulated, while people in the industry have good reasons to resist regulation, his wider message is definitely welcome. Muscat asserted that cryptocurrencies make money more transparent and blockchain can do the same for other sectors, such as medical information, emissions trading systems, humanitarian aid monitoring, and people's personal IDs. On the front, it would be easier to find common ground with those who oppose government intervention in blockchain affairs. However, it is said that Bitcoin doesn't actually care. As far as the most successful application of blockchain technology, Bitcoin, is concerned, governments can try their best at regulating blockchain technology. They can even try to co-opt it or use its name to advance their own interests, but Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin will remain an alternative to government access, and it is likely to be the most successful application of blockchain technology that we will ever have, precisely because it will remain independent from legacy systems that have proven to be deeply flawed. It is important to keep in mind that blockchain technology serves as a purpose when it comes to truly decentralized networks, and that governments can erode if they start using it for their own purposes. Very true, we want to battle to be as decentralized as possible, and realistically Malta is taking approach to adopt blockchain technology in some ways that no other countries are attempting to do. However, if it is going to be named the blockchain island, that is still up to speculation. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the well-known Samsung, right? Samsung is going to be creating a ASIC miner. Right, Squire, a Canadian mining company, recently announced the creation of the next generation 10nm ASIC mining chips. To bring this revolution, the firm is teaming up with Samsung Electronics and South Korean company GAN Chips. The objective of this partnership is to strengthen design and production of the 10nm ASIC chips for Bitcoin mining equipment. Now, we've seen many new companies trying to come out with mining equipment. We've seen BroKaine. They first came out with their Bitcoin mining television, a 4K TV that can mine Bitcoin. We saw now they were developing a water-cooled system for cooling Bitcoin. That was for Bitfury, and we even saw a new attempt now by Samsung to partner with Squire to create ASIC mining chips. These are some of the details of the emerging deal that could introduce competition to a market that is otherwise dominated by Bitmain. GAN Chips will assist with the design of the integrated mono circuits, and Samsung Electronics will produce the 10nm ASIC chips. So Samsung is going to be acting as the producer of this equipment, and GAN Chips will be assisting with the design of the integrated mono circuits. So the August announcement points out its future plan of launching next generation 10nm ASIC chips after securing a multi-million-dollar private equity financing. So that's crazy, right? They secured a multi-million-dollar private equity financing, and now they're going to be creating a 10 Newton meter ASIC chip. So they're going to be doing the manufacturing in South Korea, and Squire says that South Korea will be a stable location to manufacture these next-gen ASICs. And on August 1st, 2018, they stated that they will announce that the Squire had engaged an undisclosed arm's-length design fabrication firm to perform the block-end design testing and initial mass production run of their next-generation ASIC chips for mining Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, and other associated cryptocurrencies. So a coin that can be used for multiple different coins, from minerals to Bitcoin. So Squire Mining is basically a mineral mining firm and is now evolving to develop, manufacture, and sell data mining infrastructure, which includes ASIC chips and mining rigs. Once both companies reach a specified goal, i.e. Squire's initial ASIC chip, Samsung will then team up and join as a producer. Samsung will then begin its production for preliminary testing. The first prototype will allow for the testing of the ASICs and the software. It will also allow these companies to see how the whole system works. There are more partnerships for Samsung. This is not the only mining initiative that Samsung will be involved with. A partnership with Halang Mining, formerly known as Dragon Mint T1, aims to deliver Samsung chips for ASIC mining rig production. This can change the mining hardware landscape for Bitmain, bringing more competitors with high quality equipment to the fray. Now, for me, this is very interesting that Samsung is just going to be jumping in with the production of mining equipment, but they're definitely trying to get their foot in this new market. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let me know, what are your thoughts when you hear that Samsung will be producing ASIC mining chips? Are you comfortable with having a mining rig at home as a solo user of mining rigs and it's branded Samsung? Is that something you can see in the future? Do you picture a lot of everyday users just have a Samsung TV, a Samsung phone, and a Samsung ASIC mining chip? It will be very interesting to hear your guys' thoughts. Now, Mt.Gox Trustee liquidates $230 million in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash is what we'll be reading next. However, let's take a look at our Son of a Chain segment, which is very interesting because we're talking about the future of exchanges and some of the hidden pressures that we see, not only from potential hackers, but from governments. Let's take a look at that.
The future of exchanges. I've spoken about the risks of keeping your coins on an exchange and advised against it. There are, however, other risks that involve your personal identity beyond possible phishing attacks that you might face, government intervention and loss of funds through legal action. Governments as well as hackers understand that the single point of entry and exit from the market for any coin is the exchange. Trading volumes on an exchange dominate the market. Therefore, at some point, users will have to provide their ID to the exchanges in order to trade. Exchanges that serve as a bridge to the traditional banking system have KYC and AML measures in place for years now, especially after Charlie Shrem's case. But now, governments understood that in order to control the markets, they must extend these requirements to exchanges that do not interface with the traditional banking system as well. As a result, more and more exchanges, especially the centralized ones, have been asking their users to upload a copy of their IDs and in some cases even a utilities bill. Others also recurred to credit reporting agencies such as Equifax, which was recently hacked. The data breach at Equifax affected around 145 million people according to its estimates. Governments and hackers have something in common. They both want to know as much as they can about you because it serves their interests. So even if the exchange you upload a copy of your ID to does not get hacked, the government of the country where the exchange is based can subpoena or otherwise gain access to your identity and all trading information that is related to it. The risks here are substantial. Hackers might use your identity to steal from you or even from people that are related to you in some way. They can also use your identity to do all kinds of things on your behalf online as an extortion tool, especially if they know your own coins. Governments can use this information to launch investigations against you for tax purposes and other arbitrary needs. Both might end up stealing your funds, although governments will frame their theft as a perfectly legal and justified maneuver, no matter what the circumstances are, and will probably use a euphemism to avoid calling it theft. Therefore, if an exchange that does not serve as a bridge to traditional banking suddenly asks you to submit your ID for KYC or any other purpose, remember that providing such information will expose you to all these threats. If you can, switch to a trusted decentralized exchange. These are less likely to require KYC because if they are truly decentralized, the government will find it extremely difficult to come after them. Remember, if you use cryptocurrencies responsibly, you will be able to keep hackers and governments out of your business altogether. Priority number one is always to protect your anonymity as much as possible.
So that was our son of a chain section. Very interesting, right? The future of exchanges and the future of you having to submit KYCs. Now, that is something we haven't had to do for a long time, for pretty much the whole entire existence of cryptocurrencies and exclusively Bitcoin trading, is when you're using an exchange that does not act as a bridge to traditional banking systems, you wouldn't have to submit a KYC. For instance, if you can't withdraw in USD to your bank account or make a deposit using a credit card or making a bank transfer, then a KYC protocol, KYC procedure wasn't a necessary thing. But now we are seeing more and more exchanges that do not act as a bridge to traditional banking systems are actually asking for KYC information, which can then be subpoenaed by government and asked for you to please provide information on your trading history, whether you want them to have access to that or not. So if you have experienced this at all on any of the exchanges you trade on, let us know what those exchanges are and if you actually went through and completed that KYC information. Do you think it's a threat, or do you think it's something that we just have to get used to as time goes by? And what do you think about these alternatives that are offering an opportunity to actually complete a KYC, pretty much verify your identity by submitting a coin or a transaction on a particular blockchain that acts as a bridge to your identity? So you complete one KYC and every transaction made with a particular coin inherently verifies your identity. Let me know what you think about that. Thank you, Kieran. Welcome to the live stream. Good to have you here, man. We're going to be talking about Mt.Gox's Trustee, who liquidated $230 million in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So he has liquidated $230 million in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash within a period of 3 to 4 months. He has recently announced a huge sale of 24,658 BTC and 25,331 Bitcoin Cash between March 18 and June 22nd. There is no doubt why he is referred to as the Tokyo Whale. So this is Mr. Kobayashi, and he performed the liquidation, and then on September 25th, 2018, he released a report pointing out the sell-off occurred between the 10th creditors meeting, which took place in March 2018, and the commencement of civil rehabilitation proceedings on June 22nd. Kobayashi's aim in liquidating these assets is to aid in the compensation of those affected by the Mt.Gox debacle. He proceeded with the liquidation after consulting with his market experts. So they sat around a round table in March 2018 and decided to perform the liquidation in order to aid those who had been affected by the Mt.Gox debacle. So his reason to sell. A representative for Kobayashi notes in a statement that as a result of the conciliation with the court and the examiner, the bankruptcy trustee determined that it was necessary and appropriate to procure a suitable amount of money to secure these interests of the creditors for the principal amount and delay damages of the determined and undetermined bankruptcy claims that have been filed in the bankruptcy proceedings. With regards to the statements, the sale was executed to secure creditors' interest for the principal amount. The asset distribution of these funds, this move is expected to reduce anxiety among investors and creditors. In a notice, Kobayashi also assures that there is a reserve fund in fiat for bankruptcy creditors of Mt.Gox, while encouraging more trust within the platform. He also explains why and how the firm is entering the trust agreement and the guarantee entrustment and guarantee agreement with CMBC. Have you heard anything about this? Please do let me know your thoughts. The link to this article is in the description below. Much more to be read on that. Now, an interesting thing we all know about CryptoKitties, right? That collectibles game that was on the Ethereum network that famously bottlenecked the Ethereum network and caused transactional prices and transaction speed to be sped completely up in terms of price and slowed down in terms of transactions. Fungibility is a topic that cryptocurrency enthusiasts have discussed at length. We're going to be talking about the world of NFTs and crypto collectibles. So the term fungible originally refers to the fungibility of gold. Any gold coin is exactly like any other. Fiat money works in the same fashion. Anyone who borrows $1 USD can pay that debt with a different $1 USD bill, and it will not matter because they are exactly the same, except for their issue number, which doesn't mean a lot to the average user. Right, so $1 bill equals $1 bill, no matter how you look at it. Any one Bitcoin should be exactly like any other, but due to the fact that you can follow its transaction history on the blockchain, something you cannot do with a $1 bill, users might be inclined to treat some coins differently according to their transaction history. So a transaction history of a singular Bitcoin tells a different story, because we can actually see the story, than a $1 bill, because we cannot see the overall movement of that $1 bill in the economy. Is fungibility an advantage or a disadvantage? Although a lack of fungibility is perceived by many as a weakness in the system, but what if we could turn the lack of fungibility into a positive effect? Fungible tokens on Ethereum are programmed through the ERC20 token standard. Non-fungible tokens, NFT, on the other hand, are unique. Every NFT is one of a kind, giving them a special value, turning them into collectibles of sorts. So let's take a look at exactly what NTFs are. The first non-fungible token to ever hit the market was CryptoKitties. Someone wondered what they could do to make trading on the blockchain more approachable to the masses, and came up with a game where each non-fungible token, programmed using the ERC721 token standard, was accompanied by a picture of a unique and adorable cartoon cat. These collectible cartoon cats soon caused a bottleneck in the Ethereum network when they became so popular that transactions started peaking. The craze over CryptoKitties sparked the rise of Crypto-Collectibles, so much that the Vault launched a special wallet for Crypto-Collectibles that is now available on the Apple App Store. So do you have that app? Let me know. Which kinds of non-fungible tokens are there? So Crypto Garden, for example, offers plants made by very talented artists, which gives the token additional value for collectors. With Crypto Jingles, users can breed a sound. The developers of Crypto Jingles thought that most of the crypto collectibles out there involved breeding some kind of cute avatar, and they wanted to see what else could be tokenized. Crypto Jingles are snippets of music that can be mixed together to create new, one-of-a-kind melodies. However, Crypto Titties, a play on the word Crypto Kitties, except the avatars for this one are female and male identified breasts. Some people are crazy, right? The things we can make. What is the future of NFT? So it's all well and good to have a crypto collectible, but what is the real world application for us? What can we see in the future that would be affected by NFTs? The future of NFTs depends on the demand there is for them. Many could become digital versions of Beanie Babies. Others could become as important as baseball cards. Those that succeed might even be bought and sold through auctions in a not so distant future. NFTs can also change the world of physical collectibles. A painting or a signed hockey jersey could be backed by a blockchain certificate for its ownership. In other words, an NFT ERC721 can be used for software titles or software licenses to guarantee anti-piracy, privacy, and transferability. Now, this is something very interesting, and we saw it with the blockchain project Publica. They used a very similar method in order to verify the authenticity of a single ebook that would be sold and published on the Publica platform. Now, these ebooks could only be one of a kind, in existence to one particular token. So therefore, you would be able to trade these ebooks and sell them secondhand, but also the author themselves would actually get a kickback from that secondhand sale of this ebook, which is very interesting because an author as far as we have come right now, doesn't really get kickback for secondhand sales of their books that they've written, right? It goes to a bookstore and that's where it sits. So that's kind of an example of an NFT. But the biggest area for experimentation with NFTs is gaming, where unique assets acquired during gameplay like skins can be represented as non-fungible tokens. Now that touches on a point that I pretty much tell everyone, right? Imagine World of Warcraft. Now for those of you who are gamers, you remember World of Warcraft. If you don't, read up on it. But World of Warcraft had something called an auction house. And what people did in this auction house is they would play the game, they would acquire items, and some of those items were able to be traded on the auction house for kickback in the game's currency. Now, if those were NFTs and you physically own those collectibles or those items that you either got acquired through completing a mission or acquired by trading with someone, they would actually have a physical place and a unique feature on the blockchain that would specify that this particular item is registered to this particular user and now has a value in comparison to all the users trading this item. And you could probably go onto an exchange and sell that item, which is an NFT, for real money. So you talk about playing a game and grafting and working in that game and then being able to actually go and profit off of that in real money. Eventually get it into your account in USD, for example. So there is a future for NFTs, but demand will determine where that goes. Very interesting. Let me know your guys' thoughts. That is the end of your crypto news live at 5. Today it was on Thursday. If you guys want any more information or you want to read up any more news, be sure to go check out the Bitcoin Chaser website, where you can view last week's video right here from the homepage. You can take a look at our press releases, you can take a look at upcoming events in the events calendar, and you can take a look at featured ICOs and gambling and casino news and information, as well as sportsbooks information. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you disliked it, hit that dislike button, but also drop a comment on why you disliked it and how we can improve it. And if you love this video, smash that subscribe button in the face and let us know next week if you have watched every single week. And be sure to send us some news and information. If you want us to feature any particular piece of news and information, we'll be happy to shout you out if that news or information came from you. From myself, BroKaine and Bitcoin Chaser, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll see you next week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. GMT. Thanks, everybody. See you. Bye-bye. Chaser, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll see you next week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. GMT. Thanks, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.